let me give you a little preface. I'm going to talk about why people should consider having a personal chatbot. Okay, this has more to do about your personal life than actually your business life. Then eventually it's your decision how much of this experience you want to transfer into your business life. And also because I'm originally from Florence, Italy, I take things very personal. I like things. There is a certain level of passion about what I do in life and so on. So when the reason why I got into this business was simply because back in 2011, I started financing the construction of 13 classrooms in Afghanistan. And 3 years down the road, the Afghan government took control of those classrooms away from me, leaving me with about 30,000 or tens of thousands of young students in the west of Afghanistan, which I couldn't communicate with. The reason why I built those classrooms was simply for social responsibility, to empower young women to be financially self-efficient with digital literacy. And basically make money, learn how to make money, writing blogs and providing content produced in that region, so that there wouldn't be just like one Malala who gets shot, but thousands of young women that can actually report and making the bad guys a difficult time. When right in 2014, IBM Watson purchased, IBM purchased SoftLayer, and our company, we found ourselves with a freebie that is the access of IBM Watson. And that's when we decided basically to start this venture of transferring our know-how as education from what we did in the classrooms into chatbots. Okay, so let me share with you now my screen, so I tell you a little bit about my chatbot story right here. So this is my life, all right? And first of all of you guys might have to consider, how do you analyze your life, all right? How do you structure your life in this matter, all right? So this is my life from a chatbot perspective. Let me show you how LinkedIn, for example, sees my life. You know, it gives me a picture here. I can put another picture here. Is the Ponte Vecchio in Florence. Stay home, guys. I have a little, write up about who I am, and then a bunch of information, my blogs and so on. And it's a content flow. It's classic. I don't know anything what people do here. Maybe I can get notification of who visited my my LinkedIn profile, but that's about it. I don't know the details, where they clicked, what they did exactly, unless they reach out to me. So this is one approach. Another approach of how to do it is how Wikipedia does. That's my Wikipedia page. I did a lot of things in my life. The interesting thing about Wikipedia is basically the publications, everything that speaks about you, the references basically are what is the real meat into this, the content, and then that allows the editors to build the content on top of it, right? Including some charming little picture on the right side. So, but this is still not a way for me to get better feedback and also to learn anything, all right? So what I do here now, let me move this around. So what I did, I transformed my entire life into a chatbot. Let me put some real-time numbers here. So here on this side is all my philanthropic work, all right? So if I zoom in, I will see, for example, from here, that 15% of people are interested in my philanthropy work, okay? If I go to the left, let's scroll here. When I'm on Zoom, it's a little bit slower, so I will see that, for example, business entertains the interest of 28% of the people that come visit my personal self, all right? And then here's my personal life, in which I kind of made a decision to break down my personal life into my favorite sports, that is sailing and judo, ventures with notable people. I have been in New York for 30 years, so I have run into a lot of interesting characters. My parents, in which you can actually, through this, learn more about my parents if you speak Italian, or check out my mom's cookbooks. My business relationship with John Malkovich when we had our clothing line. And then also you can contribute to me, providing me some questions about something else, and I get a feedback off of that, right? That allows me to learn what people want to learn more about my personal life. So this is a way for me to break down certain parts of my life and and create this compelling chatbot. Then here you have inspiration, here you have other stuff, right? If we go down here, then I use a technology from IBM Watson that is, I measure sentiment and emotion of people. Now, when you are on LinkedIn, Facebook, all those platforms, unless you are getting into some strange environment, people usually are very positive. They always tell you how great you are or how their life is fantastic. My reality is slightly different, all right? So my chatbot, when people talk to my chatbot, and let me clarify, I'm not famous, but a small number of people go there every month. It's 350 people, and they spend an average of 6 minutes. So that's 2,100 minutes average. That saves me 35 hours of my personal life to talk about selling or whatever I do for business or what, you know, or what I do in philanthropy. But when they tell me what's in their mind, I measure 10% of anger, 8% of disgust, 10% of fear, 40% of joy, 22% of sadness, and 10% of undetermined. Now, as a statistic, I heard in the United States, for example, depression affects 20% of people in the country. So the 22% of sadness might be in line with that, right? I'm not a psychologist or not a psychiatrist, but it gives you a little bit an idea of how different this is from my content flow on LinkedIn, for example, all right? And it gives some truth to the matter, all right? Then there is another aspect of this, in which is the natural language understanding. That is this little section here. So let me open it up, all right? When we started this process, my team, they kind of set it up for me in the NLU because I needed some help on this. So we decided from this point here to this point here, there are about 35 intents. And those are conversations. How old are you? What you like to eat? Where did you grow up? Where do you live? What do you do for a living? And that's how we went live. And I really thought it was going to be compelling. Then I started getting people talk to my digital self, in which they started asking me questions in which I was not prepared to answer. Like, for example, because I'm a judo guy, I have cauliflower ears, all right? So people ask me, why do you have funny ears? Well, then I had to explain it, all right? Or, for example, what's my favorite music? Or what do you think about New York? And so on. And all this stuff started flying into this chatbot, providing me the opportunity, not so much to tell people about me, but to learn off of what they were interested in. And that's exactly what I wanted out of artificial intelligence, and not just a tool to brag about how great I am and whatever it is, but actually the opposite, to get those guys ask me questions that I couldn't answer so that I can pressure test my knowledge on a digital level, but also on a personal level, so that I could contribute with some word of wisdom coming to the other side, right? So this is like the digital self I am right here. Like, that's actually me in Locarno when I used to represent the film festival of Locarno. So Francesco is back. Hi, let's do this. And I show you. So there are 4 ways in which I decided to define myself, all right? So first of all, I leave you the opportunity to tell me what's on your mind. So if you click here, I'm basically calling, in this case, the IBM Watson platform. Here I explain the purpose in which I'm asking you what's on your mind, and I will use AI to measure your sentiments. So for example, if I say, I am miserable, all right? Oops, so let's see what this says. So Watson is telling me that you feel sad. I'm sorry about this, all right? And that's an example of how, in a very simplistic way, all right? So you can articulate a longer conversation and everything else. Now, not to get wrong, Watson can make mistakes, all right? So nothing is perfect. There are ways to ask that question in which, you know, it could be different and misinterpreted. So it's always good also to know how to train the system when it comes to sentiments and emotions. Then from here, if you want to learn more about me, it brings you into the section where there is some deterministic questions in which basically it's personal, philanthropy, inspiration, blockchain, business, my secrets, and how to get in touch. All right, those are deterministic, and which I was showing you before, the personal. Or you can go back into asking me an open question, and we'll do that later, all right? So I did choose a lot of buttons. And maybe, you know, actually this morning I was thinking maybe I should remove blockchain and crypto and just stick it in there somewhere, but I can't make my mind if I want it to be personal or business. So I just leave it there for now. And this is a conscious analysis of how I use AI on a personal level to basically broadcast who I am, right? If I decided to go into personal here, then I have another deterministic tree of questions. What I do actually, this is a new little tool I enjoy. I'm telling the person who chose personal about what's the percentage of selections that has been done by other people. So in this case, not only you're learning something of me, but also you're learning that, for example, another 11% of people were interested in the last 30 days in personal and 22% in philanthropy and volunteering. All right, that's only the 30 days. In the back end I was showing you before, it's for the whole time. And from here, you can choose different options like judo, John Malkovich and I, sailing, my parents, adventures with notable people, right? So let's go sailing here. And if you do into sailing, it will show you a little bit of background of my sailing, why I do sailing. I mostly compete, and so on. All right, so it's an introduction, including a video in which there is a video of, I think, one of our sailing races that we did with my kids, all right? So let's say, what's your favorite sport? I ask you, you might say tennis. I do a little bit of learning off of this conversation. And now I'm back to, would you like to learn more about me? And now we go here and ask a question. So this is the NLU side in which we are leaving deterministic concept outside, and we go here. So Stella, would you like to ask me a question?
Sure. What do you dream at night?
So what do you dream at night? All right, here is actually a fantastic question. Let's see what it says. So now it's talking to IBM Watson, in which I train. There had been a conversation probably before about dreams, and here I show you a little bit of what I dream at night, okay? So, like, would you like to proceed to my secret section? Maybe we can avoid that. Do you want to proceed to, I say no. And let's go back here. Let's ask another, a second question. You want?
What is your least favorite food?
All right, so what is your least favorite food? All right, let's see if there is an answer for this. So, you know, ironically, I don't like apples, and I live in the Big Apple. So anyway, I also explain here that I became a vegetarian after watching the Game Changers, blah, 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 okay? So I think my computer is listening to me and is making little mistakes, all right? So to repeat, could you consider starting with? No, not sure. Let's do that another time. So now let's go into another, opportunity here. So let's say you ask something, I'll make a question I know that and my IBM Watson setup doesn't know how to answer, all right? How far is the moon, all right? So I know for a fact that I don't know this, all right? And I didn't program an answer for this. And, you know, I actually program an answer for stuff that obviously I don't know how to answer. So Mamma Mia seems like you're trying to tease me. So that's one approach. Now, we can also ask questions in which I didn't program, and sometimes things happen. Like, for example, what do you think about Saudi Arabia? All right. So a gentleman came to my office, asked this chatbot this question, and this was the answer. I usually prefer not to discuss religion and politics. I'm fascinated by different cultures and traditions. I programmed this answer for something else. So if you are asking me a political or a religious question, I was going to answer this. So IBM Watson associated those two things.
Francesco, I want to be mindful of the time, and we're literally 2 minutes away from the end of the class. Is there a specific set of instructions that we can give to the students before I show what the homework is? Because we'll have the opportunity to continue playing with it next session as well.
So you guys can go to Querlo.com. You can actually create an account. It's free. You write test for NYU, and you can actually, if you have an account with IBM Watson, you can actually put your primary keys right here, secondary key, or with Microsoft Lewis, and use NLU. You can actually here customize the way that your chatbot will look like. Let me add a picture here. Where is it here? Documents and downloads. See if I find the picture, and I move a few things around here. So okay, here. That's actually a picture I took in Florence. And then the chatbot is created. And then you can start working on the trio conversation. Here, for example, you can do add the question, your question. Let's say here. Oops. Oops. Let me refresh the page a sec. Your question. What do you prefer? Multiple choice. I will not show the sentiment and emotion because we will do it next week, correct? So you answer, you can say, I don't know, I prefer pizza. Pasta. And then there's their classic tiramisu. All right. If you don't like tiramisu, you're dangerous. And then obviously, if you like pizza, I maybe gonna connect to another chat and bring you, and we can go have dinner together. And that's it. And then here, basically, you have here an example of how the chatbot was created in a few seconds. You customize the picture and so on.
And Francesco, you have instructions on the website, right, for people to watch videos step by step how this works, right?
Yes,
so
you go to Querlo.com, and there is a section called documentation, and you can see everything there, and and so on.